What's up and good morning or good evening, whatever time you're watching this. How are you, becomers? So glad you were able to join me today, whether you're watching live or in the replay. I know this is a bonus surprise episode, but I have such a treat for you today. We're going to be talking about bucket list living. We'll explain that in just a moment. But I have a very special guest with me today. It is my pastor, Pastor Mel Keys, here in San Antonio, Texas. He is pastor of the Joshua House of Worship. And today we're going to be talking about traveling and business and so many other things. So you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned, but don't just come by yourself. Go grab somebody, go tag somebody, send it to them in their DMs, and let's have a good conversation. I'm going to go ahead and bring Pastor Mel on to join us.
Woman of God.
How art thou today?
I'm doing well, and even better now that I'm with you. You always make me smile.
Oh, thank you. Now that just made me smile. Excuse me.
Tell me where you're streaming from, because I'm on your page and I don't see it yet.
You know what? Because of the problems that they're having with Facebook today.
Okay.
It should be streaming from my Facebook page, and it's not. Give me a second. Let me see. Can I fix this?
Okay, sure thing.
But while I'm doing that, why don't you bless the people by telling them who is Mel Keys? And first of all, how did you even get into ministry? Let's start there, because y'all, the acronym for his name, Mel, is ministry, entrepreneurship, and leadership, which I so love. But tell us a little bit about that, Pastor.
Absolutely. Born and raised in Brooklyn, and in a God-fearing home. And I found my calling in ministry at a young age, but it took me some time to get to that space. I've had some great mentors, great role models, and all of that. Great parents. I was raised by a single mother, but coupled with my grandparents. So I couldn't get away with much of nothing. And story has it that when I did come into a season where I thought that I should be allowed to do some things, at the age of 17, without permission, there was a little argument.
You thought you was grown, basically.
Yeah, thought I was grown. So I said, I tell you what, I'll do it myself. I get my own place in the United States Air Force.
Okay.
And then I'll have my freedom.
Did you have your freedom when you got in the Air Force?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
You realize
they took all that away. They took all that away. I said, Mama. So,
Mom, it wasn't that bad.
That's right. So I was trying to get away from her curfew and got locked down with another one. But God was in the midst. He was working it through. And I learned a passion for leadership through the military. That's what that really introduced me to. Became a leadership instructor on a professional basis in the military. And I just loved education, leadership, things of that sort. I already had the ministry base. But then as I look back over my life, Minister Nikki, I also had the entrepreneurship portion. It was just scattered and it was understood. See, where I'm from, we called it the hustle. Well, that's what I knew it as. Brother need a few dollars. But I didn't know that it was a calling for entrepreneurship. And in this marketplace, I've been blessed to see some of the best do some phenomenal things. Take just a few fish and loaves of bread and do some things. And I'm honored to be a part of that. Yeah. So that's what it is.
Okay, so Lisa says she can see on my page now.
Okay.
If you're able to see it. And so let me give this disclaimer, y'all. If you've been trying to watch and you've been trying to find it, there's an issue going on with StreamYard and Facebook today. I think they beefing. I think they got a little beef going on. And so we've had a couple of problems with that, even just trying to log on for us to get started. So if there are any problems with the sound or the visuals, just let me know down in the comments. Pastor, are you able to see it now?
I don't, but look, let's just proceed. I mean, I'm on your page. I see all your pretty pictures and everything else, but I don't see us, but it's okay.
Okay. Because I would love for you to be able to share it on your page. If not, wanted to share it, Pastor, you can go to my Dearly Becoming Facebook page and grab it from there because we're live there as well.
Okay, let me do that.
Okay. Sorry about that. My hair was caught on this microphone. Okay. Pastor, you were saying that entrepreneurship was basically in you the whole time. You said basically it was hustling. I
Yeah,
mean, a whole lot of us can relate to that because, you trying to survive out here in this expensive world.
that's right.
Um, what was the thing that made you say, you know what, this is a legitimate thing, and I want to take it to that other level?
Absolutely. I got exposed when I was in the military to sales and marketing and all of that. And it changed my life. It changed my perspective. I had been acquainted with, most people, they're taught, hey, Minister Lisa, I see you there, darling. Thanks for chiming in. They're taught, to go to school, get a good job, go to the military, that type of thing. And it is what it is. That has its foundation for a lot of people. It's very fundamental. They teach us from the place of what they've learned, from what they know. But when I got in the military, I met some individuals who were officers, flying aircraft and stuff, and they were getting ready to exit because they had become a part of an industry that was much bigger for them and allowed them to earn way more than they were earning as pilots and navigators. And I marveled at that. I said, man, they doing very well for themselves already, and they about to get out. And I just got fascinated, and I began to study. I went to conferences, we had webinars and all kind of training, and it's all about exposure. And I got exposed to even more reading in the area of just business and entrepreneurship. And when I changed my mind concerning that, God began to move. And when I entered into that space, I've always been working since I was 14, but even in the military, in the fundamental years, I've always had two jobs. I was, delivering pizza on the side and doing all kind of stuff on the side while I was in the military. That was just the edge that I had, the way I was built. But when I got into entrepreneurship with their leadership, I started making just as much money in the early years, especially, as I was making as a one stripe or a two stripe or even a three stripe. And I said, "Ooh, man, this all right," But life happens. It's not a straight line, and there were highs and there were lows. There were mistakes. It was a learning curve, and I had to navigate through that. And there were times when I totally went all out and believed in it, and then there were times when I said, "You know what? Let me just do this regular thing that everybody else is doing, this traditional path. Let me just do that."
Yeah, I think a lot of people. There are some people that are going to watch this. I'm so sorry. They're going to watch this and feel like I've been there, done that. I've tried that before. It didn't work out for me. It was too expensive. It was too whatever. I think what you just said will encourage some people because, truth be told, it's not always a straight line.
Absolutely.
And there are moments when you have to go fall back a little bit. But what was the thing that happened for you that said, even when I fell back, I realized, no, doing this 100% full time is for me because it's about the freedom, or whatever it was for you? What was
I literally got a word from the Lord. It was many moons ago, more than 20. I was preparing in ministry for the coming year. I think it was about October, November. And it's been my habit to prepare for the year coming, at least October, November timeframe. And I told my wife I needed to get away and just clear my head. I didn't want to just stay stuck. And I felt very much stuck because it was kind of conflicting for me at times when I felt pulled. And there's an element in the church today that we shun things because it's traditional. That's just our traditional belief. We even shun wealth. We some of us come from a perspective that, if you have too much money, that's going to be a problem. That's a sin, money is, and all that type of stuff. And we really don't understand what we're talking about if you go underneath the surface. So I was struggling because I had some of that in me. There was some pollution of that. And really loving the Lord and loving God's people, I wanted to be true to the call. And most of my mentors at that time in my life, they were more of the traditional type. So they were just the job kind. Hourly wage, or just preach the gospel and the Lord will make a way. Well, I believe all of that, but how he makes a way was the question. And I saw the ability to change lives, not only for myself, family, and community, but far greater than that. So when I went away to this little mini retreat, I just wanted some solitude, some silence. I took my notepad, took my pen, took my Bible, took some water. And back then I fasted a whole lot more. I need to get back to that. Don't pray for me. Don't give up. Don't give up. As a matter of fact, I'm called to that again. But I just took some quality time with the Lord. And as I began to write, Nikki, the Lord, it's almost like he took control of my hand. I wrote down my name at the top. And as you said, My full name is Melford, named after my grandfather, but everybody calls me Mel. And when I wrote my name, it was ministry. M was ministry.
Yeah.
And the E was entrepreneurship. And the L was leadership. And I began to cry. And I cried because what was conflicted now was clear.
Mm.
The struggle now made sense. God had opened up the mirror for me to see me. So these were not things that were three things. These were all one thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us, the word would be discombobulated in our approach to life because we try to separate those. We try to compartmentalize those in areas when they're really to be congruent. They're really to be one thing and not three things. Your life is stronger when you're basing it on service. That's what ministry is. It ain't stuff only in the sanctuary or on Sunday. It's service.
Yeah.
But how can you elevate? How can you level up your service to a greater number of people, to a higher level? You got to have some sort of entrepreneurship within that to fund it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have enough time and all you got to do is work, or regular 9-to-5 job or whatever time frame it is, that's going to absorb all of your time. That's going to cut into all your energy, all your resources, and now you can't serve the people that you've been called to. And then if you don't have the right leadership, it's going to stay with you and it's going to die with you.
Yeah.
You have to pour yourself into other people that they can take what you have and take it higher, and iron sharpens iron. So your leadership will attract like-minded individuals. So when I wrote that down, he gave me a revelation about me. For years, I thought it was me, but then I began to see that it's not me, it's life. And the better we see this thing, the more we're able to go. So I'm still scratching the surface by all means, but I believe that I'm in the right place and I'm moving in the right direction.
You said something important for men and women of God, because many of us have been taught or have heard the portions of doctrine that have been taught that being poor or having less is more godly, it's more spiritual.
Yeah.
For our culture, unfortunately, it's even the mindset that having more money is an evil thing.
Yes.
You know, especially when they use scriptures like it's easier for a rich man to,
Absolutely.
So I want to hit on that for a little bit because I think that's going to be very important as we venture deeper into this conversation today. Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is the mentality, either spiritually or culturally? And then two, how do we combat that? Because for some people, that's embedded in them. They in their
system. This is DNA.
Something's in them that's telling them different.
Yeah.
But that belief is deeper. So talk to us.
That's spiritual, emotional, relational DNA. It is, you use the right word, it is embedded, it is ingrained in us. And sometimes the level of that toxicity, we don't even understand to the extent that it's there. Mm-hmm. Why we would literally shun certain elevation, shun certain promotion, shun certain platforms, certain levels of prosperity, even when God has opened the doors and he's made a way and he's gifted. Your gift will make room for. We will shut it down and sabotage it ourselves. No, it ain't the devil. It ain't nobody coming to. Sometimes it's us because we are embedded with such false doctrine, such bad theology, because we have not fully understood the whole counsel of God. God is infinite.
Yes.
God is abundance multiplied.
Yes.
God is God, and we are his children. And whenever there is lack, whenever there is need, we need to tap in to him because he will supply not just all of our needs, but to the level that it will be overflow so that it's not just consumed with us, but we need to have a bigger vision. What about the people next door? What about the people up the road, down the street, up the highway, in another state, another country, another continent? See, sometimes we're the solution. We're the answer. We're the prayer that somebody's been praying, but we're so fixated on me, myself, and I, and we got this 9 to 5 and say, well, I'm doing all right. Well, you might be doing all right for you.
Yeah.
But am I my brother's keeper? So there are so many things that we limit the hand of God, the work of God, because of small vision. To your subject, bucket list living. Bucket list living comes from bucket list beliefs.
Yeah.
We tend to think that, number one, everything is so measured, so finite, so limited, as if God is not enough to bless all of us. As if, I got to hoard everything to myself and keep it from me, myself, and I, because if I dare to let go of something, it won't be enough for me down the road.
Yes.
Mhm. So it's a lot of shifts. It's a lot of shifts in our mind. And I'm not saying that this happens all at one time. It hasn't happened all at one time for me. I still have to fight some of the old way of thinking.
Yeah.
I still have to struggle to.
I want to take a moment just to ask those who are watching to help me out by sharing this to your page and tagging me and tagging Pastor Mel. I'm going to tell you why. There is such an issue going on between StreamYard and Facebook right now that not only can I barely see some of the comments, I'm going back and forth to Facebook so I can see them, but it's not airing on my personal page, but it is airing on my Daily Becoming podcast page. So wherever you're watching this right now, please help me out by tagging Pastor Mel, tagging myself, and putting it on your page. And Pastor Mel, if you are able to go to my Daily Becoming Facebook page and put it to yours. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I've done it. And I see a few of our beautiful people, Minister Lisa, our dear sister Carol, and the woman of God, Gloria Ward, is in my house. Thank y'all for chiming in.
Thank y'all so very much. Thank you so very much. So I don't want you to think I'm ignoring your comments. As I can see them, we're definitely going to address them. If you have questions throughout this interview, please post them because we want to definitely get to those questions. Okay, so back to what we were talking about, Pastor Mel. You were talking about hoarding. You didn't say it, but I did. We're talking about hoarding. And on the one hand, we think that accumulating and having too much is ungodly, it's evil.
Right.
But on the other hand, we hoard a lot.
We do.
So, it's a oxymoron going on as well as a unbalance going on right there. With that being said, I love when you were talking, I wrote down, it's not about you. And sometimes we're not thinking when it comes to having businesses, well, who is it that you want to bless? Who is it that you want to help? And one thing that you and I talked about one day in a coaching session was you were like, well, who is it that you would like to bless? That you would like to draw? And for me, it went from being on a business level to who would this bless? Who is it that I want to reach out to? Who is it that this can minister to in the same way? Talk to us about what that means to combine. Number one, it's not about you, but number two, to combine the people that are not just in your network of people, but outside. Really want to help and connect with your businesses, with entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. The Lord has done a marvelous work in every single one of us. Our fingerprints, our callings, all of those things are distinct and diverse. They're different. I love to use Paul as a model. This tent making missionary, this apostle born out of due season, as he called it. The servant of God who took his chains as an ambassador for the Lord gladly. He was one that he understood. At first, he went to his own people. But like our Lord, he went to his own and they received him not.
Yeah.
The Lord showed him that his calling, his assignment was to the Gentiles. Thank God. That's why you and I are here today, right?
Yeah.
So the thing of it is, I said that to say this. As it is in ministry and even in business, you got to know who your audience is. You have to discover, number one, who God is, who you are in God, and who he has gifted you, resourced you, and assigned you to reach. Let me say this. Here's a clue. It ain't going to be everybody. And that's why everybody ain't going to support you. Everybody ain't going to agree with you, like you. Everybody ain't gonna see what you see because it's not for everyone. But when you do the work, when you exercise due diligence to find out who that special, some people call it a niche, that specific pinpointed, specified target, when you find out who that is, great things begin to happen. One of the most exciting things that happened to me was in the space of COVID. you know, people, some of them anyway, that thought I was out of my mind, crazy, dumb, stupid, and stuck on everything else with all this internet. Man, you always on Facebook. You always this, you always that. But by the grace of God, I saw something prior to COVID, because God showed me, not the COVID part, but he showed me the validity of building meaningful, valuable relationships online, and that those relationships would be just as significant, just as satisfying, just as purposeful as the relationships that are local. Some of the people that are on the screen right now, I call them Gloria is there, Carol is there, Lisa is there.
Hey, Sierra.
Sierra is there. These are people that we know each other on a level. Some of us we've met many times in person, but it wasn't always. Minister Lisa, for example, for the most part, I hadn't known her in person, but I knew her spirit and she knew my spirit. And finally, we got together and we've traveled all around the world now. But the thing of it is, this was one of the types of persons that God wanted me to reach and to minister to. And the same way I ministered to her, she in turn ministers to me. Same with Carol, same with Miss Gloria. We've become family. We're like-minded individuals. Yeah. Same way we got people like that in the Philippines. We got people like that in the UK. We got people like that in Jamaica, so forth and so on. So the internet has really become the type of thing, technology, that has made us able to see the substance of what God was showing all along.
I love that. Here are a few things that I wrote down. I hope you guys are taking down some of these nuggets. Number one, and he's not lying, I can tell you this, is usually not going to be your family and your friends that support you right away. It's not. Get your tough skin on and go ahead and just suck that up. It's not. You would think. But a lot of the times when it comes to family and close friends, when they see other people buying into you, that they will buy into you. So don't get offended. Don't fall out with people and don't give up because they're not supporting you. A lot of times it's the reach outside of your inner circle. And then when they see people buying into it, then girl, I knew you was going to make it all alone.
Yeah.
Come along.
I always knew. I was just telling somebody the other day.
I like to always talk about the story of the little red hen.
Okay.
And for those that don't know it, look it up for sake of time. But basically, she went around asking everybody else in the barn to help her. And nobody wanted to do it. Nobody wanted to help. But when it was all said and done, everybody came around. She was like, no, because when I asked you to want to help. Second thing is it's about leveraging all avenues and all platforms.
Yes.
A lot of people are social media, internet afraid for good reasons. They're very, very valid.
Yeah.
If you never step out into the water, you'll never discover what the water feels like. You'll never know if you can swim. You'll never know what it feels like to get your toes wet because you're just afraid to do it. And it's something that you don't have to be afraid of now. You can get a tutorial on anything. You can get a tutorial on how to paint your toenails. You just go to the internet and look for it. So there are things out there that will teach you how to use the internet, but it's about leveraging all avenues and platforms because it's not just the internet. It's word of mouth. It's reaching out to people. It's talking to people. And then the third thing is he was talking about people that he was able to reach and minister to. That word sometimes scares people because they're like, but I'm not a minister. I'm not a preacher. And basically what that means is what you speak to them, how it deals with their heart and their inward person. And you may think, well, I just have this business. That's not you never, ever know what you do and how you do it, how it affects someone else. Right. It could be as simple as I've watched you struggle as a single mother, as a single father. Now, all of a sudden, I see you're doing better. What's going on? There's your opportunity to tell them about your business.
That's right.
Say something?
No, you're absolutely right. We don't know the pathway to someone's heart. Sometimes we minimize the small things, but there's a passage of scripture. It's related to the same principle. It says, "Despise not small beginnings."
Yes.
But in the same vein, same line of thinking, also don't despise small things that can make a big impact.
Yes.
We like to, we think big. They say, go big or go home, Well, before it gets big, it has to start smaller. And we got to learn how to honor the small things.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to be faithful with the few.
Mm-hmm.
And then that faithfulness will turn and convert to fruitfulness, which will make an impact bigger than we could ever imagine. But we don't know the pathway to the person, just one conversation. It could have been sometimes, it could have been not the sermon, not the Bible study. It could have been just casual conversation at a coffee store.
Yes.
Sitting down with someone that inspired them to get to know the Lord that you love, to start that business, to do that thing that took them out of the ordinary into the extraordinary.
Yes.
So yeah, I would say what you said, make sure that we don't despise those things that are small.
Absolutely, because there's another you out there who is experiencing what you're experiencing or has experienced, or that you have experienced, I'm sorry. And there's somebody that's been watching you. And every step that you take, even though you deem it small, it's a huge step for them. It is a pathway to show them, if they can do it, I can do it. And then you never know what someone is praying to the Lord, what someone is asking God for. God, show me how I can do this.
Yeah.
God, I want to do this. Lord, I really want to so-and-so. And they don't even realize that you are God's answer to them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't realize it, they won't. So
right.
You never know about the opportunities, the things that you're doing, the things that you say, and how you're living, how it could be affecting someone's life. So that is something to think about as we venture deeper into this conversation. Right. Pastor Mel, when you hear the words bucket list, what are the first things that come to your mind?
I love that question. It speaks of limitations. It speaks of I'm running out of time. It speaks of desperation. It speaks of I don't have enough. It speaks of, limitations and the types of things that you really don't want to operate on with that type of mindset. My wife, Lady K, in our travel business, when everybody else was saying bucket list, she would say, no, life list. And I appreciate her for that. Because what we've been able to do, life is precious. And we know there is a limited amount of time that we will all live on this earth.
Yes.
But we need to live about it in our purpose in such a way that we're not, sometimes when people are thinking they're bucket list types, and remember, bucket list is more a mindset than anything else. It's like one day in the by and by, I hope to wish to God, I pray that this will happen. We wishing on stars, we throwing, coins in the fountain. We doing all kinds of stuff. We doing the most to get the least, really. Yeah. Yes, instead of just standing and believing God. And that if God has given you a vision, surely he'll match the provision. So instead of living in that bucket list mentality that most people are in, that I just hope that maybe one day when I retire and the kids are grown and this, that, and the other, that I'll get to do the stuff that I was dreaming about when I was a little boy and a little girl. Man, you 45 years old.
Yeah.
If you ain't scratched the surface by now, what you waiting on? I mean, because those grown kids that you waited to get grown, they done reproduce and now they bringing others back with them. So now what you gonna do? So the thing of it is, we got to get out of that bucket list thinking, that bucket list approach, because again, the bucket list is more a belief system and a mindset than anything else.
Love that. So I titled it Bucket List intentionally, so it would grab people's attention. I can't stand the phrase bucket list, because people don't know it is the list of things that you want to do before you kick the bucket.
Yeah.
But I do like to call it a destiny list. I do like to call it some people would say dream list. I think calls it life list, but a destiny list. These are the things that you desire to do. Now, the play on words when it comes to bucket list living, instead of waiting until, because a lot of people do not begin to touch that bucket list till they've gotten of a certain age in life.
Yeah.
Why not live that list daily? Why not live that life, that list now? And if we could just change that mentality of it, take it from one day I will, one before I die, one day before I see the Lord, I'm going to do X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z and make it. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to impute, add things into my life, and then watch God show you how to make those things happen.
Yeah.
So I hope at this point you've caught the play on words when you're watching this, that it doesn't have to be your before I die list.
Yes.
Things that you can attain right now. I've been learning more and more that things that have been on my list to do for years that I really thought at one point would be later on down the road. I'll have then to do it. I'll have the time then to do it. I'll be able to afford it. Are actually affordable and attainable right now. Affordable and attainable right now. We're going to get into how you can get more information about that. As Pastor is going to break down how we can combine. Reason being is because I know a lot of people who travel are on your list. We can combine the two of those loves together, where you start living that life right now and not waiting till the by and here and there or whatever.
Absolutely.
The good old by and by. We're going to hit a couple of comments real quick, Pastor. Excuse me. Lisa says, yeah, your family and friends actually teach you how to accept the no. Ooh.
They give you the practice.
I love that. The indifference and the rejection. They toughen you up.
Amen, Lady Lisa.
Oh, wow. And so Gloria says, love this.
Yes.
Hers is
best list. I love it. I love it.
Amen. First, as I call it, the life list. I love it.
Amen.
We can call it the more abundance list. We can call it the abundant living list. All kind of ways we can call it besides the bucket list. Because what happens if you keep it bucket list? What happens when you get to the last thing on that list?
Come on now. That's all you got. That's all you got. Let me say this, woman of God. Not only do so many live in a bad space of that bucket list, which is a belief system, but we have bucket list systems that support it. I ain't telling nobody to quit their job, but I am saying that we have learned such a limited approach to life. And because we have bucket list mindsets, the bucket list systems that we support is all we know is minimum wage, or even if it's a good wage, or even if it's a good salary. Well, I just want to get that good job and get that. What happens when they decide to give that to somebody else? Or they decide to downsize, or they decide that your services are no longer necessary. Now you really kicking a bucket, you little feeling some kind of way about that thing. My point is that the bucket list is supported by bucket list strategies, bucket life strategies, and we got to change our mindset to see something so much further. One of the things I'll share real quick. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest on the planet, he said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Last week, my fence was being repaired. Well, not repaired, replaced. And, there was a lot of work involved in getting the contractors to do that and getting all the parts and all that. One of the saddest things to me, it always, it's when you go get your groceries, but even at the Home Depot, and I got some stuff from Lowe's, man, some of them people working there, man, Nikki, it hits me some kind of way. I'm like, man, I know they 75, like they 80, and they got to be tired standing up in here all day. They're doing that because they were using, more than likely, a bucket list approach with bucket list systems. Finding a way to make money while you sleep is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. It's called residual income. Robert T. Kiyosaki, one of the books I love, Cash Flow Quadrant, 4 sides on that thing, how wealth is created. On the left side, I say it this way, you get the leftovers and you get left. Because on the top side, top left, here's what happens. That's all we know is jobs. And on the bottom left, you turned your job into a business and you're being blessed. You're probably making more money, but you usually have a lot less time because it's all on you. And if your hands are not on the wheel, that vehicle is no longer going forward anywhere and you're losing money. That's why people say time is money, time is money. Well, not necessarily. It all depends on what system you're using. So on the left side, you get left. On the left side, you get the leftovers. 95% of the people in the population are on the left side. That's how we were educated. That's all we've known. 5% of the wealth is on the left side.
Mm.
The right side is the right side. This is where he teaches and instructs those who have an ear to hear. This is where you have the business systems, and this is where you have those who have wealth that creates wealth. Everything reproduces after its kind.
Yeah.
So on the top right, you have business systems that are not based upon how many hours you put in, how straight, well, I work 3 straight shifts. A lot of people don't even realize the way the tax codes are written. You
almost
more, come on. You pay more money when you're working overtime and double shifts and be like, well, what? I was expecting my check. Man, that government took that part right off the top.
Mm-hmm.
And people are losing out because they're on the wrong side, the left side. That's leftovers. The right, you need a business system that's not based upon how many hours you put in. And it doesn't matter how smart you are, doesn't matter how hard you work, you need to have the right system. You don't want a bucket list system. You want a life system, a system of abundance. And then when you really get that system right and you can leverage it with everybody winning in the team, then you got enough money and your money will earn money. Those are called investments. So we need to get out of this mindset where all we've exposed our children to is what we know.
Yeah.
We need to read more.
Yeah.
Come on. We need to get on some podcasts. We need to go to some conferences, and we need to expose our mind to other stuff. And sometimes I'm sad to say this, the church is the last ones on the scene to say anything about this stuff because we think that's ungodly, unspiritual, while we fall 50 to 100 years behind everybody else. But when you look at Solomon, when that queen came and saw him and she lost the wind in her lungs, she said, oh, it wasn't because the brother was shaped up, he might have been that too. But she said, good God Almighty, you mean you got all this going? See, the world has a system that they know how to do it, but we're the king's kids. If anybody should discern the times, if anybody should know where the wealth is, God says, I've given you power to create. Why are we in the last place, in the last position, talking about money is evil?
Yeah.
It's the system, and the system comes from the thinking. And if the thinking doesn't come from real righteous theology, we've already started off in the wrong place.
Yeah. Money isn't evil, but the system can be.
The system can be.
And we serve a God that owns everything, but we're broke.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's your choice in life, because some people take that vow. If that's your choice in life, that's your choice. But we have to all understand that there's no lid over our head.
No, but the one we make.
Yes, and we serve a limitless God. So when we have that mindset, that bucket list thinking, that's our cap. That's our ceiling.
That's it.
You said a couple things. I want to hit some nuggets, and then we're gonna go a little bit deeper. You were talking about jobs, and I just started thinking about how even the people that work these jobs have been there for 10, 20, 15 years. Robots are taking your spot.
My God, I'm seeing it.
Down to Walmart. Yo, there are some McDonald's
where
robots are doing all the serving. You won't even get a job at Mickey D's anymore.
Yep.
That's your side hustle, or if that's your main income, robots are taking that job.
You're in trouble. Yep.
You mentioned seeing a lot of elderly people still working. I know people who have retired twice, and they retired from that job they worked out for 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
They were out there and was like, it's not enough to pay my bills.
That's right.
My medicine and my food, and the cost of living is going up 3 or 4 times per year.
Absolutely.
And so on job number 3, so they've retired twice. Third job. And that reminds me of this commercial. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but it says, don't make your future you hate you. People that are in their late 80s and 90s that are talking to their past them, the decisions that you made then are affecting me now. I'm still working at this age because when I could have made better financial decisions, when I could have invested in myself, when I could have done this, I didn't. And so one of them says, my boss is just going through puberty. I'm in late 80s and I'm still working with someone that still has pimples on their face because I did not make wiser decisions and choices. Did you
Yeah.
want to think, Pastor, before we go?
I need you to send me that commercial. I hadn't seen that. That's powerful.
They sing it. Don't make your future you hate you. I love those.
He said that to me.
I will
Yes,
do those.
yes, ma'am.
So Sierra says that money that you make while you sleep, Jesus, where that at? Where is
Well,
that at?
that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. I'll answer that. Let's go to those.
Amen. Money answers all things. It is not evil. The system is.
Absolutely, woman of God.
That
Yes.
part.
I love that question that Sierra asked, and it's a real question. It's a viable question. We should have more people asking it, because again, it's about exposure. It's about education. And I can't get too deep on it, but the school systems itself were created and they are sustained by the very systems that want us to remain to be in the labor force that creates more wealth for them. Let me say it this way. The wealthiest people are not the wealthiest because they're smarter. They're not the wealthiest, certainly, because they work harder. They just use the right systems. And when you use business systems, sound business systems, you'll learn to earn income, not just on being present and being on site. We call it residual income. Some industries, they have things called royalties and things of that sort. You learn how to do a work one time, and from that work that you do one time, it pays you over and over again. There are many ways to get into that space, but that's what we need to do, some education on the miseducation for young people, because if they stay on the path that they're on, they're going to end in a worse spot than where some of us are in our midlife and beyond, because as you said, the prices have escalated and they continue to go up 3 and 4 times a year. By the time they're our age, Lord have mercy, it'll be even worse. So let me do this for you, woman of God. I'm going to tell you about this vision of this travel club, worldwide travel club. And I'm excited about it because it brings all of what we're talking about together. The model that this company has, Culture Vorum is called, it says this: a better life requires a better way. Somebody put that in the comments. A better life requires a better way. And here's my response to that. I have found it. With a resounding yes. I know it to be true. I found that better life from the better way in this company. Because here's what it does. It teaches everything that we've already spoken about. It models it. It came from a visionary 11 years ago, David and Adela Hart. Shout out to them. They put this thing together. They were already very wealthy. They were doing well for themselves with traditional business. They had made millions and millions, but it was for themselves and it was for their family alone. Nothing bad with that. But when God gave them this vision some 11 years ago, beyond that, it began to change lives around the globe. It began to change lives for people. Now, in more than 65 nations and multiple continents, we have 3 headquarters. I've been to one of the 3. We've paid tens of millions of dollars in commissions to everyday ordinary people. And the only limitation on the compensation that people receive is themselves. It puts us automatically dead smack in the center of the largest industry on the planet, which is travel. And travel by itself, just for the benefit of those who may not have read through this, right now it's in the neighborhood of about $10 trillion being spent in travel every single 12-month period.
Yeah.
Experts are saying that by another decade, if not sooner, that 10 trillion is going to move to more than 15 trillion. That's a minimum 50% increase. This is a major growth sector. And the visionary of this company saw that the models that were being used before were keeping people broke. It was keeping people stagnant. The models that people were using before were timeshares. Let me just tell you what. Don't you remember that commercial? Don't you buy no ugly truck. Don't you buy no timeshare. I had a conversation with a young man last week. He had, gotten off into some stuff, had already signed the paperwork. I said, man, let me tell you something. I was paying $379 a month on my 3rd one, whether I use it or not, like everybody else. This travel club allowed me to go to the same spot and pay $59 for the whole week. And I did it multiple times, couldn't do it a whole lot more, but I've been in a whole bunch of other places. I don't want to keep going back to the same spot. So my point is this: don't you do no timeshare. That's an antiquated system. Here's another antiquated system. When you go on the internet and you thought you found a good deal, and no matter what the company was, Expedia, Priceline, Kayak, Hotel, Travel, whatever they are, they're all from two companies, and they're retail companies. What does retail mean? There's a middle person, there's a higher person that's going to make the money, and then there's a lower person that's going to pay the money. That's how the system works. You're always paying more than what you really need. Now, in some cases, like a travel agent, you might use a travel agent. My wife and I, as you know, have been travel agents for 12 years, but that's a retail system. Yeah. If you use our services to book something for you, we ain't doing it for volunteer work. We're doing it because we're going to get paid a commission. Now, nothing wrong with that. We're putting the work in. But the thing of it is, your price is going to be higher anytime you use a travel agent. Period. Point blank. End the conversation. That's just the way it is. And that's not a slight against travel agents. Again, we're travel agents and we still book people for their travel. But we always try to direct them to the travel club, where David and Adela Hart put this powerful vision together, where there's 3 levels of travel that you won't get anywhere else. We use what we call the Netflix model. We are literally the Netflix of the travel industry. And we say that with great honor and great pride in it, because here's what happened. Now, you know, I'm a movie person. I love me some movies. In fact, when Planet of the Apes about to come out, we got to go check that out. You see, holla at me. We got to go check that out. But anyway, I love movies, always did. And I used to have this thing where my wife and I, we would get Hollywood videos on the street. Then we go down the street, then we get some Blockbuster. So between the both of us, we had about 5 or 6, 7, 8 videos to watch, plus the kids, every weekend. We were paying $35, $40 for all those movies, though. And then, you know, late fees. We'll talk about that on another show. But the thing of it is, Netflix changed the whole game. Yeah. They say, give us a membership premium. I think it was $8 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And we're going to let you watch whatever. I say, shut your mouth. Say what? Because I was mad. I was swole when I went to, I said, man, it's Monday. Why they closed? Man. What's going on in here? Yeah. And, you know, I didn't read the fine print. Real quick note, I won't take too long on this. Netflix had an offer on the table for Blockbuster to buy them out. Mm-hmm. But they didn't have the vision to see it. Mm-hmm. Now Blockbuster is what? Bankrupt. In the museum. Obsolete. Yes. But Netflix is, man, I think they got like 235 million customers, $35 billion or something like that.
It's killing the game. It's
killing it because they're using the membership model. That to say this, Trevorum as a travel club is the exact same thing, but for travel. So for people, I love this. A lot of the single mothers, a lot of the people, you know, who all they knew were timeshares and they're paying all this money and they only went one place a year. Now we got people that are traveling 2 and 3 and 4 times a year. They used to just stay at 2 and 3 star hotels. Now they're staying at 5-star hotels and staying at places where they never could afford before on a regular basis because of this program. And that's what the vision of this company has been, to make travel affordable for anybody, anywhere, at any time. And we're very proud of it.
I love it. So let's jump into this. Pastor Mel, you've been everywhere and anywhere except the moon at this point.
I ain't going there. I ain't going to the moon.
One thing about you is you're going to take a lot of videos. So when I see you with a suit on, you up there on the moon, I will not be surprised.
Yes.
But of all the places that you and First Lady have traveled, before you began to live life abroad and travel the U.S. as well, what were some of the misconceptions that you had about travel that you got out there and was like, you know what, I played myself? Because it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah. I've always loved to travel. I don't know. Am I frozen on your screen or is it just mine?
You look like you praying and saying grace.
Yeah, I'm saying the grace. I don't know.
I can still hear you.
Yeah. As long as you can hear me, I don't know what happened. But it'll come. Do you want me to come log out and come back right back in?
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and do that.
Let me try that. Okay.
He looks like he believes in saying grace before he eats. I want to ask you all, if you don't mind, to please put this on your page and help me to share this, because as I explained earlier to those that just came in, Facebook and StreamYard are kind of fighting right now. It will not let me put it on my main page. So if you're able to see this from wherever, please put this on your page and tag myself and tag Pastor Mel, so it will display. Let's see.
Sorry about that. I don't know. That's technology.
Okay, and then your slides when you get a chance, put those.
Yeah. So I've always loved travel, and I actually joined the military. One of the things, because I thought that I would travel, and let me tell you what I did. I traveled from New York to Texas and stayed here the whole time, 2 years. So, it's always had this curiosity for me, and this area of interest for me. But now doing it, I'm glad that even in the military, I always wanted to go to Hawaii. We just went to Hawaii this past year, 2023, and it was phenomenal. I said, man, we waited 30 years. We finally here. But we paid, Nick, and I'll talk to you about some of the things that this club does. We paid about $600 for 5 days at a 5-star resort in Hawaii. And I can tell you this in confidence. If you looked up the lowest rinky-dink hotel you could in Maui and even Honolulu, you might pay $300, $350 a night. So to be able to stay for 5 days and pay about $600,
yes,
that's what this program does. We have 3 tiers of travel, and it's distinct to this club. One, we give you travel agent pricing without being a travel agent. You're able to get access to more than 2 million properties at travel agent rates. Again, shout out to all the travel agents. I ain't mad at you. When I joined this thing, I had been a travel agent for 6 years already, so I understand. But it is what it is. The numbers don't lie. So we're giving people access to what they can book on their own without even using anybody. You're getting the best pricing. You could do that on rental cars. You can do that on cruising, so forth and so on. But then the second layer is what we call Dreamcation Getaways. And then the Getaways is about an inventory of about 2,000 plus places. We've stayed in places here locally in San Antonio. I won't call the name because we're not supposed to. But the name of the hotel is my favorite here in the city. Let's just say it's across the street from Fiesta, Texas. It's, in the La Cantera Boulevard area, you understand? And it is gorgeous. And man, that place got everything in it. I mean, it is plush. We would stay there, Kendra and I would take her there, for a night or two for, special occasions. That's all the brother could afford. It's kind of steep. But in this program, we've stayed multiple times. In fact, for a retirement party last year, we stayed for a whole week. Going to pay $250 for the whole week. Yeah. I can tell you that without this program, you'll be paying more than that per night. We've stayed for a week in Vegas with the Dreamcation Getaways. Paid $99 at a 4-star hotel that you would have paid about $1,500 or more for the entire week. So that's about 2,000 of those types of places in the inventory. But the third part is the game changer for me. These are the world tours. These are the ones, like, again, we'll be going back for the second time to Montego Bay. Shout out to all the Going Places authors. I see Lady K is there, of course, McQueen, and Lady Lisa is there. She's one of the authors. So we got about 10 authors. Shout out to Apostle H.D. Wilson. He has a new book out. He's going to be debuting his new book. We got a Minister Lisa as well. She's going to be debuting her newest book. I just got it in today. And one other author who's going to do the same. So we're going to have an author tour. It's going to be a book tour. And we're going to do some great things in Montego Bay. So it's ministry-based, it's leadership-based. Of course, it's entrepreneurship-based, as I mentioned. But in Montego Bay, I want y'all to get this. I can't tell you the name of the hotel. We've been there before, but that place looked like heaven. I mean, I thought I had died, man, when I got on that. Before I got there, when I'm just flying over, I mean, that place is so gorgeous and the people are so hospitable. If you go to the site itself, Commissioner, you'll see the price for the website of this particular place it starts at $1,800 for the accommodations we have. If you go to other sites, it goes up to as high as $2,200, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
We're paying for 2 people, all inclusive, 5 days, all of $500 and I think $85. I think it is.
Yes. Yeah.
$85.
Yeah.
We've done that in Paris. We've done that in Dubai. When we did Dubai, and shout out to my baby girl. I'm mad at her, Tanya. She didn't send me no lamp.
I was about to say that. Tell people, Tanya is in Dubai for $49. And if you think we're lying, if we put her, well, we didn't get permission to put her information up there, but you can go to her Facebook page right now and look at all of the adventures.
Tanya even gone.
But she just came back from Punta Cana, right?
That girl stay gone.
She gone in the street. She out there. Yeah. No, she's out there.
Yeah.
She passing the borders.
Yeah.
She crossing borders and waters.
I think in the past 3 years, she's been to more than 50 places through this program.
Yeah.
Karen and I, we try to do about 4 a year. Last year we did 6, but we try to do at least 4 a year because we spread it out. But the thing of it is, it fits your lifestyle. Not only does it fit your lifestyle, but it fits your pocket. Now, Tanya paid $49. I ain't mad at her. We had to pay $99. But in Dubai, 5-star hotel in Dubai, breakfast for 2. Check this out. The breakfast alone, Nikki, was $35 a person.
Yeah.
And worth every dime of it, let me tell you.
I saw the pictures. I saw
Good God Almighty. Boy, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. And that, man, they know how to lay out a spread over there in Dubai. That place is set. But anyway, we paid $99. That included breakfast for 2 and the king size room. Where you gonna get that at?
Yeah.
Ain't no travel agent gonna. We got folk that have been to Punta Cana, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, Greece, Thailand, ranging from $1 to $40 a night, and some of those are all inclusive.
Yeah. We
got videos, we got receipts. This is what our travel club allows you to do. So for people who say, well, I got to think about it, I got to pray about it, I'm like, man, what in the world are you talking about? If you got to pay gasoline and you got a Texaco on this station, the Exxon over here, and it's the same exact gas, everything being even, this one is $5 a gallon, over here is $300 a gallon. Who are you going to go pray to see which one you should do? Come on, man, let's be real.
Say so now you want to go pray.
What are you talking about?
So Pastor, let's talk about so you've mentioned travel club. For those that are watching that have no idea what you are referring to, tell us a little bit more about the travel club portion of Travorium. And again, the slides are not back up on the screen, so I didn't know if you wanted me to hit them.
Yeah, we don't need to use the slides. Right. I mean, basically what this travel club does is it makes, again, travel affordable for anyone, anywhere, at any time. You get a monthly membership subscription, and it's like a layaway plan. Every dime you put in, you're going to get back, but you're going to get it back with interest. It's those dollars in our program are going to be stretched so much more than what you can do on your own. It's the equivalent of a Costco. Actually, it's magnified exponentially. Yeah. Or a Sam's Club, but it's the same principle. Or even the Netflix, the same model. So it's following those principles. You get a membership, and our membership gives you more than what you can get on your own. So when our CEO and the staff, they buy all this inventory, millions and millions of dollars of inventory, and they pay in advance. This has always been a debt-free company for the past 11 years. He's very frugal, very conservative in that way. Solid family man, one who loves the Lord. Him and his wife, they're just awesome people. When they do business, they do it with integrity, and they do not disappoint. So when you get that monthly membership, it's like laying away the travel that you want to go on anyway. But we have what we call a referral program, and this is where it goes to another level. So number one, you're winning because you're getting pricing that is so far superior to anything else that you got out there anyway. I'll use Montego Bay for an example again. You go to the site that I mentioned for the resort we're staying at. On their site, it's $1,800, 18 something odd dollars. On our site, the same thing is $1,300 for the same exact thing. So We're saving you about $600 just by using our membership. But when you use our points, which you get your points by paying your monthly membership subscription, that $1,300 can go all the way down to, again, $585. Now, here's the thing. We show you a way to get all of your points for free. When you refer 3 people and they become members and they're winning and they're getting $600 discounts and they're saving money on their cruises, they're saving hundreds of dollars on their rental cars, when they're going to 75,000 plus restaurants all across the country, they're getting savings there. When they buy stuff on the internet, they're saving money there. They're winning even before they travel anywhere.
Right.
And when you get 3 people that save money like that on the same level of membership, now the company is going to give you all of the points that you were paying for free, which means that in the course of any given year, from $1,000 and something to all the way up to $3,000, you can save. You can have that as free travel every single year. I've never paid a membership. I've been in this club now for over 6 years. From the time I got started till this present moment, I have never, ever, ever paid a membership. And my belief is most people will not and should not if they just use the system for which in the way in which it was intended.
Love it. So let's jump into that, the business side of it. We've talked about travel. We talked about entrepreneurship at the top of the show. How can we combine our bucket list, destiny list, dream list of traveling and entrepreneurship via the Travoyum Travel Club?
I love that question. It's a total life game changer. I'll use some examples for me. I'm going to do ministry no matter where I go. So when we were in Hawaii, we did a conference. Shout out to Apostle Hassan, actually Rabbi Hassan and Apostle Marquita. We did a conference with them, Lady K and I. Small gathering. We did it at a 5-star hotel. We then went the next day. That was one day. We then went the next day to the beachfront and had prayer on the beach and communion. And as she blew the shofar, man, it's like I'm seeing it right in front of my face. The sky just cracked open and the rainbow just flew out of nowhere. At the moment. So we knew it was a divine moment. Yeah. And God showed us just his grace, his favor, that whole thing. We were able to, man, we did some of everything while we were there. We really enjoyed ourselves. Helicopter ride, dined all over the place, all kind of tours and food. So all of that's mixed in. So I tell people, because we got people that they have 4 generations of family members. They've gone to places like I just mentioned. They're 4 generations. I give you a story with the Davis family. 4 generations in Punta Cana with about 20 something odd rooms all together. They all got memberships. They paid just over $3,000 because of the membership. Right. They did pound for pound comparison as to what the same accommodations would have cost them if they would have went the regular way. Right. With all of them. It would have been more than $13,000. Yeah. So we do stuff like that. When we did Dubai, shout out to Ambassador Sherry. We did a joint teaching and training together there. We did some vision board. You love to do that too. We did a vision board session and workshop. We imparted faith. We did Bible studies. We had prayer services in Dubai, y'all. What a time we had. And then, good God Almighty, we did everything else. We were like Tanya. We were dangling our legs, dinner in the sky. And we did the camels. We did the dune buggies. We did the ATVs and all that. We all kind of tours and excursions and all that type of stuff. So we had such a marvelous time. So what I tell people is you tailor this travel club to what you want your life to look like. Stop waiting for 2 weeks of vacation and doing the standard stuff, talking about one day by and by, wish a bucket list. That's bucket list. With this travel club, you don't have to do that anymore. It'll shape to your vision. It'll shape to what you want. So if you want to do women's conferences, if you want to do author book launches like we're about to do in July, if you want to have a family reunion, if you want to say, look, I just want to go and sit down myself and just read a book or write a book, whatever, and it's just me. But enjoy, yeah, and enjoy. If you do you with this, that's what I love about it. You can do you with this. as small or as large as what you intend to.
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
It does. And I believe it speaks as well to all the possibilities that exist. You know what I mean? It's just beyond joining a travel club. It's beyond ways that you can make money. It is, I never thought that I could do that. I didn't think about taking my family for a vacation. I didn't think about taking my great grandkids or my whoever. I didn't think about that. And again, as we said at the top of the show, it's not about you. It's not just you.
That's right.
The possibilities that are open to your generations and legacy. And I want to hit this real quick. If you would like some more information, or if this is just speaking to your very spirit, go ahead and text that word self-care to 650-881-4402. I'm heavy on self-care, as y'all know, and this is about self-care too. This is about you taking care of yourself. This is about you seeing life and the world beyond the borders of your city and beyond the borders of your state. This is beyond the borders of the U.S. if you want to go. But Coach D, who is one of, what is she?
She's a one-star. We call her a triple ambassador because she's an ambassador, but in all actuality, her husband, Apostle Guy, he's a one-star ambassador. But when he passed almost 3 years ago, his book of business, she runs his book of business in his behalf because he's now with the Lord. So we call her a triple star ambassador. She's a beast. That's what she is. That's what she is.
Well, Coach Beast, but Coach D, the way her and her husband have things set up is this business is willed to her grandchildren. Absolutely. Her grandkids are making money right now. These are little babies. Yeah. I think the oldest is 7, maybe. Was it 7, 5?
I think it's
not over 10.
It's Ava Gracie, and which is her great granddaughter. But then she has her other granddaughter who's grown. So she has 3 of them. But the 2 young ones, there's, I think, 7 and 8, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, they are making money right now off this business because
when they're 18.
Go ahead.
When they're 18, Nikki, they will be guaranteed multiple millionaires because of their business. The business already is about 107. Let me just say this: when Apostle Guy died, his business was earning about just shy of $25,000 a year as a 2-star director. In his absence, the business continued to grow organically. And you say, well, how could his business grow when he's dead? Here's what happens. The people who have memberships, all you do is refer people who want to save money, just like you saving money, who want to go to types of places that we've already been speaking about. Instead of being on a bucket list, now it's on their life list. It's on their manifest list. So they're winning. And what are they going to do? They're going to tell other people, and they're going to get so the memberships begin to multiply. Well, his memberships and his business multiplied to the extent that the company was now, even after his death, instead of paying him $25,000 a year, it grew to $170,000 a year in a 31-month period. By the end of this year, 2024, it's projected that it will exceed $200,000 a year, and she'll be more likely in the neighborhood of about 175, somewhere in that neighborhood. Bottom line is, they'll soon be approaching 2025. I'm quite sure they'll cross $500,000 a year.
Did y'all hear that about the legacy? Did y'all hear how their seed is going to make money? These babies have not even probably even entered 3rd grade, 4th grade yet. And she's not dead. Now, her husband did pass on, but look at what he left. Look at the inheritance that he left for his wife, his children, and his grandchildren. It takes them to many of her world tour trips. So these babies, they've been around the world before they really probably even.
Them ain't no regular grandkids.
They're not. What you say about the one? Because Coach D does not stay anything less than what, a 4-star?
Yeah. Oh man, she
really not that 5-star.
Like yeah, she's not gonna do it.
But even her grandbabies, they
not gonna be able to do it. They talking about lobster steaks and shrimps.
Mike, you know what I'm saying?
What?
These babies not asking for McDonald's. They
do.
Steak.
They ruined. Let me
get that. So if I know this is speaking to your heart, I know this is speaking to your spirit. I know you're looking at the prices of life and living, going to the grocery store or the gas station, and you're thinking, do I need to get another job? Do I need to work harder at this one? You are looking for a way to either earn more money, or you know what? I've been wanting to become an entrepreneur all of this time. This is for you. Text that word to that number. That is for you. This is also for you if you are I'm sorry, y'all. If you are empty nesting,
Mm-hmm.
you have given your whole entire life
Hello.
to, they're grown.
Yes.
They're grown now. So what about you? This is for those who want to become world travelers. You want to see this beautiful world. This is for those that already travel, but you're paying full price, and you want to start saving more money so you can travel even more.
Mm-hmm.
For those who are ready to experience life outside of their neighborhood, their city,
Mm-hmm.
or even the
Uh-oh, we lost you.
I'm sorry, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Even the borders of your mind, the borders of your family cultural way of thinking, you can attain these things. You can travel. You can go see the world. Pastor was saying, and we kid you not, Tanya is there right now for $49.
6 days, 5 nights with
You
breakfast.
can't go to Houston, Texas for $49.
No, you can't. You can't. Not even Austin. You won't even make, not even Austin.
Pastor, you can't go to the Rinky Dink Motel.
No.
Forget the whole, you can't go to the Rinky Dink Motel for a night.
Yeah.
Let alone she's there for how many days?
6 days, 5 nights with breakfast for 2.
Wow. You know you're ready to start new things. You know you're ready to have new adventures. You know you're ready to try new foods and learn new culture. It's about getting out and seeing life beyond the projects, life beyond the west or the east side, life beyond what your whole family has ever known. Be that change. Mm-hmm. Be the one to change things. Be that cycle breaker. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Be the one that has residual income coming in, streams of income coming in. And Pastor, as you get ready to end this, I know you wanted to discuss a bit about the layer compensation. Was there anything you did not get to?
Absolutely. If you don't mind, first I want to comment, bring that first slide, that self-care thing. Let me just say something on that, woman of God. I want to commend you on being bold enough. If you put that self-care back up there,
I'm sorry, you said what up?
That banner with self-care. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to challenge someone to do what the woman of God just mentioned. She was bold enough and courageous enough to use a word that in a lot of Christian circles there's such a misconception, there's such a misunderstanding. It gets such a bad rap. But Jesus himself said to love your neighbor as yourself. And we're trying to do things for other people at the expense of ourselves, as if we're a savior, as if their salvation comes from us. Salvation comes from one and one only. That's the Lord Jesus. It ain't us. Amen. So if you don't take care of yourself, even if you do really love people and you want what's best for them, well, to give them what's best for them, you got to do what's best for you. Yes. But if you stop taking care of you in trouble. And not only are you in trouble, but so are they. Yeah. So woman of God that's listening, man of God that's listening, get yourself some help and some self-care, and text the word self-care to 650-881-4402. Now, here's that part that she alluded to. I don't think a few dollars is going to go against the grain of self-care. Because I look at here. Ain't nothing like having some extra. Come on. You just feel some kind of way when you know bills have been paid, things are in place. Ain't nobody coming to turn those services off. Come on. You could go back in the garage and know your ride still going to be there. And ain't nobody putting no locks on no door and eviction. No, it's time out for that type of living. You don't have to do that. Mm-mm. And without regard for, your age, without regard for what school you went to or didn't go to, what your degree was in, none of that has any bearing on it. This is a field, this is an industry that if you bring the heart, that if you are coachable, if you can unlearn and begin to relearn the things that you need to in this industry, and I am so passionate about helping people to get to the place where God will have them to be,
Yeah.
because there is no limit to how much income you can earn, but you're the only limit.
Yeah.
You could grow as little or as much as you choose, and your compensation will always match the level of your growth. We have people who are just literally making enough money in the travel club to do some upgrades and fly first class. Some of them are making enough money to take friends and family with them, or buy some souvenirs without, putting it on a credit card.
Pay the car note.
Yeah. We got people that are just earning enough money, to pay the car note. As in the case for myself, we were blessed to send our daughter through school, pay off cars, give considerably to different ministries, so forth and so on. That's what we've been able to do. Retire my wife early, things of that sort. But we're still just scratching the surface. And my role is to empower as many people as I can to do the same and much more. And the only limit, again, will be yourself. We're falling behind some great leaders. You mentioned Coach D. I believe with everything in me, by next year, they'll be crossing somewhere in the neighborhood of probably about $500,000 a year. The people that they're behind, shout out to Coach Darrell and Maria, they're already there.
Yeah.
The people they're under, learning from, being coached by, they're already exceeding $1 million a year. There's no limit, y'all. The only limit is you. We show you how to, number one, win by saving money on your own travel. That's winning already. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get all kind of tax deductions from day one. The average home will receive in the neighborhood of $200 to $500 a month in tax deductions just by joining in this club. Point blank, period. Right. Then besides that, we're going to show you how to make 3 referrals. That's going to give you all of your travel points for free. Now you're getting up to $3,000 a year in free travel. From there, we're just going to multiply those memberships through your efforts and the efforts of those who now have memberships under you. And when they begin to multiply, there's no limit to how much multiplication can take place. I'm telling you, this is the thing to do. It's not based upon how hard you work. It's based upon how smart you work. And we're looking for people who want greater. We're looking for people who want more. And we're looking for people who are ready to get out of that bucket list mindset and go about their business with the life list. Hope that makes sense.
Love it. Pastor, as we close this up, here's what I want to end on. I'm actually going to just leave you on the stage by yourself and you'll be closing it out. Mm-hmm. There's a single mother watching. There is a father that's working 2 or 3 jobs, taking care of his kids. There's some empty nesters. There's some people in their 60s. There's some people that are 19. All these different levels of life and these different generations, but they're going through financial struggles, or they feel like they just don't have the time, or they feel like, but some of them feel like they're not even worthy to be in Dubai. They don't even have the mindset there. What would you like to say to them in closing, to encourage someone to take a chance and to text that word self-care to 650-881-4402. What would you like to say to them in closing? And as I leave out, thank you so much for watching. I apologize for all the technical issues, but please help me out by sharing this to your page. Tag myself, tag Pastor Mel. Thank you so much for watching, Becomers. And Pastor, it's on you.
Minister Nikki, first of all, let me just thank you for your integrity and for the great work that you do, not just in the local community, but your voice is now being heard all over the world, and you're making a significant impact. And there are young ladies and men just like you scattered all over the globe, and that's the person I want to speak to. So thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of your broadcast today.
Thank you.
So to someone who is just like Nikki, you've had this dream, you've had this vision. The scripture says this: without a vision, the people perish. Some of us are perishing and we don't even know it. We're stagnated and we haven't yet realized it. We're stuck and we don't even know why. It goes back to what I said earlier. It's about the systems. It's about the strategies. It's about the structure. We followed that which can only bring us so far. What we're sharing with you is a better life requires a better way, and we found it. go ahead and text the word self-care to 650-881-4402. It won't obligate you one way or the other. You don't have to join anything. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to do anything. Get your questions answered. Start with that. And then share with Nikki and myself what it is that you want to do. We want to be personal with you. We want to customize something with your brand, with your name, with your DNA. We want to put something together with you. We want to coach you through a strategy that's going to work for you based upon your vision. My vision and your vision, two different things. Let us find out what yours is and see how this travel club can be one of the greatest resources in your tool belt to get you to places where you never thought you would go, doing things you thought you would never do, having things you never thought you would have. A better life requires a better way, and we found it. I'm Pastor Mel. God bless you, and we look forward to hearing back from you. Thank you so much.